Welcome to the Comic Corner. My name is Damon. He is AF. Buddy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just happy that the week is almost over.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, almost Thursday over on my side, about 3 hours away.
Okay.
So yeah, weekend is fast approaching, and I could not be happier.
Yeah,
How are you
usually
doing?
we both record on Thursdays. And
Yeah,
then as my genius self is looking ahead, and I was like, wait a minute, it's November. It's Thursday this week, of course, because we do it every other week. Oh, wait, Thanksgiving, I will not be able to record. So here we are recording on Wednesday, but don't you fret because we still have a bunch of good stuff for everyone today. Here's our poll list. Here's what we're talking about Superman castings galore. Holy crap, this was like a crazy week for castings. We're going to break each one of them down. Sentry Engineer, who, speaking of castings, it's not just Superman movie. We have castings for the Sentry officially now. Solicits also dropped. Man, what a chunky episode this is. And then our usual reviews. I'll talk to Cole. We got Yelena's solo book. AF finally got Birds of Prey. And Wonder Woman number 3 came out yesterday. I will go into detail on that because I absolutely loved it. But AF, let's start off first with one of the biggest news of the week as we have the Superman castings. So many of them. So many of them. We have our Jimmy Olsen as Skylar Gisondo. We have our Eve, Sarah Sampaio. But, when you have an Eve, AF, who do you need with her, right? Hmm.
yeah. You
Hmm.
need that Lex Luthor. You
You need
need him.
that Lex Luthor. We have our
You need
Lex
him.
Luthor. It's Nicholas Holt, who I love for this pick. But which one of these is like really standing out for you right now?
I think it has to be Nicholas Hoult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Um, I wasn't the biggest fan of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor in that previous regime. I'm not even going to say its name. Um, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of him, and I am quite a big fan of Nicholas Hoult. His acting is amazing. He was a brilliant beast, in my opinion, in the uh, Days of Future Past, X Men First Class, all of those movies. So he's not a newcomer to the genre, but yeah, I'm keen to see how he takes on this role. I'm keen to see the how can I say, the way his mind works in Lex Luthor sense, because I mean that is extremely vital. You have to get that spot on. I mean, we've seen people like Jared Leto try to become the Joker, and sometimes they overact, but in certain cases the actor just gets it, and I really hope that he just gets it, because I'm all behind him, man.
I think one of the most interesting things about this is the fact that he auditioned for Superman. He
Yeah,
didn't get it, obviously. Cornswag got it. But he did audition for it. And the last time I remember, well, I mean, there's been a few cases, but like the biggest one I remember is a Tom Hiddleston tried out for Thor. He didn't get it.
yeah,
Who does he end up getting? He gets Loki.
Loki. Yeah,
He gets his antithesis. He gets his counter. He gets his big rival. And I'm like, man, this can be perfect because there had to be something that Gunn and his whole casting crew had to see with this, where it was just like, maybe Superman isn't for you, but there's maybe a little sinister behind you. There's something there behind you. And that's what we can explore more. I think it's a great pick. You need to get Lex right. You need to get all these characters right. You really, truly do. And Lex is just such a big one. Do you have a favorite Lex? Is it Smallville Lex?
I think it has to be Smallville
Yeah.
X. I mean, Rosenberg, he just hit that out of the park every single episode. I mean, I don't think he ever stepped a foot wrong.
Mm.
Like it was just like 10 out of 10s every single episode. And I think James Gunn even said that on Lex's podcast. Michael Rosenberg's podcast. He actually told him straight away that he's the best Lex that he's ever seen.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's coming from James Gunn, so you know how good he was in that role. What about you?
Oh, for me, it has to be Smallville Lex as well because that's the Smallville is the show that introduced me to Superman. Truly, I'd like come home, my dad would be watching it, and I'd just be kind of sitting there absorbing it as much as I could at the time. And that just when oftentimes your first interpretation of a character is kind of like that's the character. So for me, that kind of happened, and every other Lex I've seen since then, I'm like, yeah, but it's not Rosenberg. Like it's not
I,
him. So
I
to me, that's like I'm excited for this. I think there's a lot of high potential here. I don't think this is going to be a Lex that's going to get like big and buff for the role. Although, if this does have an all-star Superman element to it, there is like a few panels where Lex is just getting absolutely jacked. So maybe he
yeah,
could, if they really want to go that route, they can. Um, but there's
yeah,
a
because
lot of
look,
options here.
he's not going to go. He's not going to go in hand to hand combat with Superman. No
Mm,
chance. If anything, he's going to wear his super suit, and I mean, you don't need to be jacked to do that.
yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the route they take with this one.
Yeah. 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 So these aren't the only castings that happened. We kind of had an accidental casting. Robert Kirkman said some things he probably shouldn't have said.
Mm.
Oops. Stephen Yeun is the Sentry in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie for Marvel. Robert Kirkman pretty much officially, unofficially revealed that. So, what AF and I thought would be fun for this week, because we also have the engineer that was cast, we could do a little comic history, a little who type of thing. Like, who is that? And I'm going to do the Sentry because this is a fascinating character and it does fit well in a Thunderbolts movie, all things considered, with the little background that he has. So his name is Robert Reynolds. He was a drug addict. He took a very super duper golden century super soldier serum, which turned him into this, right? Oftentimes we sometimes see a super soldier serum go very wrong. This one, I wouldn't say went very, very wrong. He was a hero, uses powers for good. He was like head to head with the Hulk. They became buddies. Very positive superhero vibe from him. But the Sentry does have one problem. And you can almost equivalent it to an Adam Warlock scenario where he has his Magus kind of like alter ego, his persona. He has the Void, which is kind of all of his fears and anxieties kind of like thrown into one personality and became, long story short, evil. Unfortunately for him, having a guy of this magnitude who has the power of like 5 million or a million like exploding suns, like stupid level of power right here. Eventually he had to be put down and put away, and Doctor Strange and a bunch of others just kind of wiped him and every other character in the world about him once they put him away. They gave him the Peter Parker, the MCU Peter Parker scenario, where it's like, who? The end. That's kind of the story of Sentry.
Nice, man. So I don't know much about him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've read anything about Sentry. So I'm actually quite keen. I actually don't think I want to read anything about him yet.
Mm.
When the movie comes out, then maybe I just want to go in blind, get to know this character, but and then do some reading after that to see uh, how far away they deviated from what he was actually supposed to be. I actually like to do that sometimes when going into movies and then just picking up the comic afterwards, just to see, okay, did they get this person right, and how far away from the comics did they actually portray this character? Um,
I definitely think this will be an interesting kind of point with you have so many super soldiers or equivalent of on this team, right? You have Bucky, you have Alexi, you have John Walker, like three just bang, bang, bang right there. And even Taskmaster to an extent. So you like this team is almost ironically when they announced they're like, oh, this is just a team of super soldiers. Well, here's the super soldier essentially, who just absolutely lost it. And that's why I think they make a really fascinating character right here. I do have like a reading list if anyone wants it for just kind of like the go-tos for this character. So in 2000 we have the Sentry. It's a 5-issue miniseries. 2005 the Sentry again. That's an 8-issue series. Then Dark Avengers explores his kind of demise, his mental collapse. Siege is just everything completely falls apart, and then there is an epilogue issue called The Fallen Sun.
Oh, nice. I'm super amped to see Steven in this role though. You know what would be extremely funny?
What?
Just give him long blonde hair.
Flow.
Imagine that.
Why not? Why not?
Imagine that. Just do it. Give him the full comic adaptation. Just give him
You'd essentially be
the
going Super
long
Saiyan at
blonde
that point, like just a long hair. Like
yeah.
once he becomes that, that would actually be like that'd be pretty good.
That would be dope. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Do it, Marvel. But yeah, I'm super amped for it, and yeah, I can't wait. Like especially with all those other actors in the film, just to see them complement each other in the best way possible. I think it's going to be an amazing one, and yeah, I'm excited for the movie.
You know, I'm also excited for. Let's talk Superman again. The Engineer AF. This was one on the internet when this was announced. A lot of people went, "Who?"
So here we have Dr. Angela Speaker. I think I always read that wrong. It's probably Spitzer, um, probably because it's like Latina or Spanish. But yeah, it's spelled Spica. But yeah, she was the second engineer and a member of the Authority, which is another title coming to the DCU
Mm.
near you. She has liquid body due to nanites in her bloodstream, and with this metal blood, she can sort of create solid objects. And from a young age, she was extremely infatuated. She was obsessed with superheroes. So yes, something like this. It's those proper comic tropes
Mm-hmm.
where somebody idolizes a superhero and then they eventually become one. So this is something similar to that. And yeah, she was a doctor, like I mentioned, and she had a home computer that was filled with all this nanotechnology notes. And she was doing some research at the time on human machine fusion. So all of that, yada yada yada, all happened, and those nanites got infused with her body, and yeah, it gave her abilities to turn in entire body into metal, like fill it with liquid, cover her body with metal, and yeah, it allowed her to fly, and what was the other thing? She was able to make weapons out of this liquid metal
Oh.
as well. So yeah,
So almost Blue
some
Beetle-esque
awesome
to
thing.
a point in the most recent movie where you kind of see that happen.
Yeah, and similar to something that I don't think we should mention, but it's called Secret Invasion, and Amelia Clark's power that she could just do anything. Adam, forgive me. But yeah, uh, yeah, that's basically who she was. Another Authority member called Jenny Sparks, recruited as a founding member of the Authority, and just some previous backstory to that. So the Authority was created for the Wildstorm universe,
Mm.
and DC Comics absorbed Wildstorm Comics at a certain point, and then I think it was with Flashpoint that the Wildstorm universe folded into the DC universe and just became one big happy family. Um, but yeah, that was quite cool. And when they folded into the DC universe, they I think the layer or the world that they came from was called Stormwatch, or the organization. Sorry, my memory is a bit hazy on this one. I feel like it was the organization that was called Stormwatch. But yeah, if you want to just to get to know the basic part of the engineer, pick up the Authority #1 and Jenny Sparks, the secret history of the Authority. I think that's what
Okay.
it is.
All right.
Those two, I think you should be good for a nice little intro lesson on the engineer.
All right.
What do you think about that?
I think it's an interesting character. I mean, this movie is already just like loaded with a lot of characters in it naturally because Clark has so many just kind of like affiliate members with him, obviously with a Jimmy, with a Lois Lane, with
Yeah,
and then you get into like, all the villains and the authority is supposed to be on this as well.
and you get Hawkle, Mr.
And
Terrific.
Hawkgirl too. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a lot
Yep.
of just characters like thrown in here, which is awesome because it'll mean like the world is already developed, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. I'm curious to see where this will go. And honestly, like when it comes to the authority, I am not anywhere near like authoritative, ironically enough, to really talk about them because I haven't really read much authority, much of
Yeah.
anything. So I'm curious and intrigued to learn more about them.
Yeah. And I mean, the beauty of it now is there's so much content available for us to read in trade format. So we just pick up a trade, we read about 5 issues in one, and yeah, that's the beauty of it. The actress that is going to be playing the engineer is her name is Maria Gabriela de Faria.
Okay.
Um, I remember her from a show that I called The Moodies. Uh, Super good time if you have the time. But yeah, the interesting thing about this character in the movie is that she is going to be playing a villain, whereas in the comics, she's more of an anti-hero
Okay.
or a lesser hero. But yeah, she's not straight out a villain, so that's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see where they take that.
All right. All right. Well, that was our hour kind of like recaps and looking forwards to some characters that were announced. It's all very exciting. DC has a really bright future in the movies with Gunn leading the way. We still have one more DCEU movie kind of ironically treading water next month that we'll just kind of have to like get through and then we'll be in the clear after that, everybody. We're fine. Like after this one more, we're good. Finally.
I I don't know. I think Momoa's like he's definitely staying in Gunn's universe, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I think Aquaman is that's there's going to be some little breadcrumbs that they're going to be laying in there for the DCU.
I mean,
I don't think. I, I,
we'll
I
see.
think this is more the first movie of the DCU or the second movie after Blue Beetle because Solo is um, going to be Blue Beetle moving forward. Um, so yeah, I think it's going to be more the second loose project in the DCU.
We'll see. I don't see him returning
But
as
we'll get a new
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Don't worry.
I mean, unless if all of a
Yeah,
sudden he
yeah.
changes makeup, he turns around at the very end of the movie and has a Lobo face on. Like, I really don't know how this would connect to the future of DC, but we will see. We will see. Speaking of futures, though, one of my favorite things in comics is solicit season, where you look ahead and talk about all the new books coming out in a few months. They get you excited. They get you to pre-order those books. And I'm starting out with mine. It is Steve Orlando's Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. You thought the Scarlet Witch was done after 10 issues. You're wrong because we have a Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. It's a 4-issue mini. Steve Orlando writing it, Lorenzo Tameta on the art. I'm looking forward to this. And it looks like Russell Dodderman is back on covers, and that is always a dub.
So is this a continuation of the current Scarlet Witch run?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Right, AF, what
It's
you
cool
got?
that it's cool that Steve got to continue that story. Yeah, I have Green Lantern number 8. I'm so invested in the story right now. Uh, like I've said before, Jeremy Adams, amazing. I love that guy, and there's so much mystery in this book, and I we still don't have much answers about Hal's hitting right now. Currently, it only works for him. Sinestro tried taking it off of him. It doesn't work for anybody else. Sinestro was pissed, obviously, because like, why doesn't the lantern ring work for me? And yeah, there's still so much mystery around that. And uh, when I read the description of the solicit for Green Lantern number 8, there's a lot that's happening on the United Planets. They're trying to consolidate power in the universe, and they're trying to do it by nefarious means. And there's just so much that I'm looking forward to in this, because every single time I'm finished with one of the issues, I'm like, okay, damn, I just need the next one right now. And by the end of, I think I finished 4 or 5 now, and then they were like, okay, next issue out in January. I'm like, dude, what am I supposed to do right now? Um, but yeah, I'm super excited for this one, and I cannot wait to see where the story goes.
I really need to check this out on DC Infinite because I just need to catch up on that. I'm not much of a Green Lantern reader personally,
I'm
but
I,
you talk
I'm
such
not
high things on it. You're raising my curiosity every single time you talk
yeah.
about it.
I'm not a Hal Jordan guy at all. I I always thought that he was the weakest Green Lantern, but uh, there's some street kid coming in here in this one.
So another book I usually do not read is Spider-Man, but every preview, every solicit, every description of this Ultimate Spider-Man run from Jonathan Hickman that's supposed to come out in January continuously gets me so excited. I have never been this excited for a Spider-Man book. I can't tell you how long. I mean, the first issue we already talked about last month with that solicit and how Peter's going to be in his 30s by the time he gets bitten by the spider. And he's already going to be married to MJ with 2 kids. And now we're going up against the Green Goblin, who in the description of this is a hero. And also, who is the Green Goblin in this universe? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows right now. This is fascinating to me.
I like that they create these like newer type of storylines and this mysterious type of storylines for people that knows these characters, like the people that's grown up with these characters, that's read so many different storylines of these characters. Like, oh, okay, here's a curveball. You don't know them actually. So amazing. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Jonathan Hickman on writing it, Marco Cicchetto on the art. I am so excited for this, man. I hope so it doesn't disappoint. I really hope it doesn't disappoint. All right, what you got for your second one?
Yeah. And staying with the spider people.
Hmm,
Are we doing our own small little spider verse over here? I think
I
that's what
guess.
it is. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Spider Punk, written by Cody Ziegler and art by Justin Mason. So in this one, it's a world without Norman Osborn, and Spider Punk he basically reigns over there. And as him and his team, they try to rebuild the society. There are people like Justin Hammer and Dr. Otto Octavius that try to ruin the fun. They're trying to ruin the party. So yeah, there's something called the spider spider slaying sentinels. Yeah, so
Okay.
interesting.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. When I was looking through the solicits and I'm checking, okay, which ones I probably going to want to read,
Mm-hmm.
because this is a short a short run as well. It's going to be a 4 issue run. So I'm like, okay, cool. No commitment needed to this one. 4 issues. The storyline's probably going to be great, judging by that description. So yeah, I'm all in.
Very exciting 2 picks, but there is something that caught my eye. It caught your eye, and it caught a lot of people's eye on the internet realms. In DC, they brought back the swimsuit issues the last few years during the summer. A lot of people really like them. So how do we do that in the winter? I don't know. Just like put a snowman behind it. This is called the Sweater Weather Collection. We have this one of Fire and Ice from Lyrics, another one from Dan Mora for Titans,
Take it in, guys. Take it in. Just drink
Tiago de
drink it all
Silva for
in.
Green Lantern, and I have
Brace
an
yourself.
Ariel. Yeah, I brace
Brace
yourself. I have an
yourselves.
Ariel Diaz black cat in my office. I also have a Kate Bishop custom commission from Ariel Diaz, and she dropped this treat
Wowza.
for Superman. So
I'm not
getting
worthy.
warm, getting snuggly with sweater weather covers coming soon to you. These variants are going to sell out. I can tell you that.
100%.
It was one of those where it was like, man, how do we talk about this without just bringing up every book? I was like, I'll just rip through them. On to reviews, buddy. I'm gonna have you start first with White Widow. Tell me about it.
So, dude, this issue is so much fun.
Okay.
And you, as a Kate Bishop fan, as a Hawkeye stan, you will enjoy this. Not because they are in the book, but
Okay.
as I go through my explanation and my review of it, you'll understand why. So, the book starts off with Yelena. She's settling into like quiet town, Idle Haven. She just wants to get away from it all, just kick back, relax, have a couple of beers whenever she wants to, chill with a dog that is called, what's the dog's name? Um,
They gave her a dog.
Bint Bint Clarton. Enough.
Naturally.
That's enough to convince Damon to read this book.
Man, you know what's
Yeah,
funny? Before you go forward, when they announced this book, I was just like, oh man, they're just doing this because it's MCU. So I was like really like poo-pooing this a little bit, but I was gonna give it a shot. I didn't actually pick up the issue. Um, Man, they should have just let off with that for me.
dude, there's so many things that um comes up about her past in this book. There's so much humor. There's an intriguing storyline. It starts off with this scene between her, like she's interrogating some person. It's set in her past. The first 3 or 4 pages is just like set in the past, and she's interrogating. But in typical Yelena style, she's not interrogating or politely. She's doing it her way. And who comes to spoil her fun but Captain America, Steve Rogers? And there's this cool little interaction between them where she's being super sarcastic with him. So yeah, that gave me a few laughs. And then there's this one part, I think it's somewhere in the middle of the book, and she has a board in her house, and she separates everything by love, hate, like, dislike, and neutral. And the things that she likes is dogs, other
Ugh.
than Bint Clarton. Um, and she likes Kate Bishop, and then she has it in brackets because she's funny. She's
You know,
neutral
there aren't
on,
a lot of Kate and Yelena interactions. Off the top of my
yeah,
head, the most recent one I can think of was the Kelly Thompson Black Widow run. And I'm pretty sure genuinely that's it. So
yeah,
if she got that she's funny from a few panels, I get it.
yeah. And the one that gave me the biggest laugh on this board is under dislike she has Cyclops, and then in brackets it's because he refused to gossip with me. So, boo, Cyclops. If there's tea, you listen to it. Take
Where
it
would
all
she
in.
be even? When would she be gossiping with Cyclops in the first place? Now I'm asking questions. I'm asking continuity questions here.
Who knows? Who
Was this at
knows?
the
I just
Hellfire
found it
Gala? Because
extremely
I'm
funny.
pretty sure he was a little busy.
Who knows, dude? I think that might be a question for Sarah Gailey, who is the writer of the book and illustrated by Alessandro Miracolo.
Colors from Matt Milla, lettering Travis Lanham. I'll check
Yep.
it out. Fine. Tease me with Kate Bishop and Clint Barton and both my Hawkeyes, and you just
And the
now I'm
dog, dude,
obligated.
the dog, the
And the
dog, the
dog.
dog.
Now I'm obligated. You mentioned Kelly Thompson during that really quickly. Kelly Thompson right here, the Cull issue number 5, the penultimate issue of this wild I say it every way. It's like Goonies esque, where these kids go to like this alternate dimension in search of a lost little brother, and now they're back out of it, but the creatures from that dimension have taken over their world while they were gone, and now they're kind of in a Simpsons movie s style bubble where the whole town is just kind of under this quarantine because there's a giant monster wreaking havoc, just murking people left and right. And these kids now have essentially superpowers that they got
Oh,
on this alternate world. And it was interesting. This is more of an exploration of this setup. This penultimate issue is a good exploration of the inner workings of kind of like all these kids' relations with their families and with themselves. There's this one character, Lux, who, oh, by the way, the art in this from Mattia de Luis, once again, 5 for 5, amazing, incredible art, realistic paintings. I adore it. Like Kelly mentioned it, Lux looks like someone that I like we would all know in real life, just like visually. It's like, yeah, that is a person. This doesn't look like a made up human. This literally looks like someone I would know. And the powers that they get are sort of, how do I put it, a manifestation of what goes on in their mind. So one of them essentially has the ability to fly because they try to escape or do anything they can to help people. And Lux uh, is very defensive. She's the only one who kind of has like a power that would be used as a weapon, and it's because of her life that she's kind of grown up with. She always has to be defensive. And now, going into the final issue, they're off to fight this giant monster.
nice.
So it's
How?
cool. It's a cool book. It's only 6 issues or 5 issues.
Okay, cool.
Um, 6 issues. So it's only a few, and I've really just been enjoying it. It's been good. It's been good.
Sounds like something that I'll probably end up reading the moment my um, comic book shop gets it in, although I don't think that they will. And I can't read these comics online because Comixology, DC Infinite, all these things, all of these
Rip
online
Comicsology, by the
stores
way.
do not. Sorry.
Said Rip Comicsology.
Oh, do they not exist anymore?
It is
Haven't they
now.
taken over
We
by
didn't
Amazon?
discuss it. This is comic news. Comicsology is now actually just completely as an app gone. It is now just under the Amazon brand, and like if you're
Yeah.
reading something on Kindle, if you buy it on Amazon, it'll just go straight to a Kindle app, which sucks because a lot of people love that like Comicsology digital library, and now it's just gone, which really stinks for a lot of people.
It still doesn't help me because I try to when I try to do it on the Amazon app and when trying to use Amazon for it, you are in South Africa. You do not have the permissions to buy this item or to view this item. Come on, guys. We also
Crazy.
want to read online comics. Like
Legally
we don't
too.
have,
Legally, we want to support our
yeah,
writers
and
and artists.
we don't have the time to always go to a comic book shop and stuff. And I mean, like for people in South Africa, it would just be so much more convenient to get some comics online, and we'll be able to get it as soon as possible. We wouldn't have to wait 3-4 weeks to get an issue
Mhm.
in. We'd be able to get it immediately. So something to take heed on, comic book publishers.
Yes. We mentioned Kelly Thompson once. We mentioned Kelly Thompson twice. How about 3 times AF? This is another big Kelly Thompson week.
Yeah, dude. I'm so sad that I took so long to get to this. But yeah, I finally got it from a comic book shop, and I gave the first issue a read just to test the waters, and I absolutely loved it, dude. The part where everybody was trying to when they approached Harley Quinn to join the team,
Mhm.
everybody was just like, nope, 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 opposing the idea. And
it
then yeah,
it was peak
it's just
Twitter
like
moment, honestly.
it was peak Twitter moment, and like the ending where like Harley's just now trying to like find her way in the team and what she can do, what she can't do. I haven't read issue 2 yet, so yeah, that ended off on a nice funny note for me. Um, yeah, Cassandra Cain, Big Border, Zealot, uh, Dinah, and I mean the entire premise is them banding together to save Sin, who
Mhm.
is Dinah's adopted daughter. Um, so
Sister,
yeah,
more
that's
sister. It's like
well,
an adopted sister
sister,
type of. She
mother,
keeps saying little
daughter.
sister, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, but there was one point where it was treated more of a mother daughter dynamic when she brought her back to Metropolis for the first time
Mm.
after coming from the League of Shadows. So yeah, it's either way. Like that's the entire premise, basically to save her. And yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, the last panel gave me a good laugh because they kept really quiet what the actual book was about, and then like the
Yeah.
last panel, it's like, all right, we're gonna go have to infiltrate, the mascara and steal a kid back from the Amazons, and then Harley's just sitting there like, ha ha ha, shit.
And the funny thing is, I could hear the Harley laugh. Like it wasn't necessarily a Margot Robbie laugh. It was
Mm,
just like there's so many different iterations of Harley Quinn media that I've consumed, whether it's animation, whether it's live action, and I just heard that entire panel
mhm.
in Harley's voice, and it was so amazing.
So I really love this book. I'm all caught up on it. I can't wait for you to keep getting caught up on it. We can continuously talk more about it because this has just been a delight, an absolute treat of a book. Leonardo Romero's art on this is phenomenal. I love it. The colors from Jordi Belair too, as you probably saw, very old school, muted. It just felt
Yeah,
like felt classic comic, and it just really
it did.
complemented Romero's like art style, which is also very traditional. And
Yeah,
it just works so well. Loved it. Love this book. I cannot wait for you to catch up.
yeah, 100%. I cannot wait.
So today's my Wednesday, which is New Comic Book Day. And usually I go to comic book shops at night. And it's not night yet. And there was a book that I really wanted to talk about this week because I saw a lot of people talking about it. And that's Wonder Woman #3. So I picked this up digitally so I can read it. And holy crap, man. I love this series so much. And there's some spots in there that like some people on the internet just do not like this idea of Trinity, who is Diana's daughter in the future. And that gets introduced in Wonder Woman 800. We still have not really even seen Trinity yet in this book at all. It's very much how this story's been played out is there was an Amazon woman who got into a bar fight, murdered a few people at a bar. Happens. The United States government did not take that well and treated that as a act of war. And now the Mascara and the U.S. government, and now pretty much the whole world, is trying to essentially go to war with the Amazons a little bit. Not so much total war, but they're like total deportation, get out of here, go like it's a political commentary on just modern history of things. And I think Tom King treats it very, very well because you see just Diana's perspective of it all, and you're hearing this overarching narrative from another character who we haven't really spent a lot of time with. It is Diana's antithesis, who is a character and all he does is lie. So as
Oh,
Diana is like the symbol of truth and justice, he is a character where all he does is lie. And he has a black lasso that was introduced in Wonder Woman 800, reintroduced in this issue, that makes people believe lies. And it gets dark
that's
in this book. It's very, very, very cool. It also Trinity in that Wonder Woman 800 issue is not just named Trinity because she is the head of the DC Trinity. She also has 3 lassos. And this other lasso, this black lasso, which I was like, is this like a lasso of death? Like, what is this? And it's kind of revealed to be a lasso that forces people to lie and believe these lies, which is crazy powerful. And he was essentially
That's
saying how this thing
interesting.
was, yeah, he would kind of like going on, this character was going on to, I think his name is a Sovereign, who's going on to say, like, this has shaped history with people believing these lies. And like, we got out of so much crap because of this. And it's like, wow, what a crazy concept. So I really like that. There's some moments in this book that are amazing. There is a Wonder Woman elevator fight scene where it's not even she was like in the elevator. Well, she is in the elevator. To explain, she gets in the elevator to go meet the sergeant and knocks out one guy, pushes the elevator door. Elevator doors opens. She just throws a tiara where like all of these like military army men are just out to, just shoot her. Throws a tiara. Tiara's boomeranging all over the place. She's yawning in the elevator. The art from Daniel Sampier here is top class. Incredible art. Love it. Just like steps over and is like, oh, any of you want to point me in direction? And they're all just like knocked out. And she's like, no, okay, whatever. And, walks away. Uh, incredible art. There's a reveal towards like 2/3 of the way through the issue of the return of her invisible jet. This time it has a lot of guns attached to it. That's how
Nice.
she gets out of the scenario. And then she's off on her way. I love this. It is very Tom Kingy. It is very wordy. So if you do not like Tom King books because they can take a while to read because they have a lot of words in them, you may
And
not like it, but it's
sometimes you
poetic.
have to read panels from Tom
Yeah,
King
it's
because
poetic though. There's some
it does it
beautiful
so
poetry.
yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. And then there's a backup issue, which again, the internet being the internet, being up in arms, being like, we don't like this new Daughter of Wonder Woman thing. Also, there is a reveal, a potential reveal at the end of the book. I will not spoil it for anyone because it made my eyes big, and I was like, oh crap, this is like could be a big thing going forward, and I don't know if what they said is even true or not because of this lasso of lies. That's like
Mm.
one of the ongoing things that
Oh, damn.
Tom King will definitely be playing with, where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like was this like what he said, whatever this guy said, is that even true, or is that itself a lie?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mm.
whoa, they're gonna be like Tom's gonna be playing with this. I guarantee it back and forth, and that's gonna be fascinating.
And
Uh,
that gives the reader so much buy-in that I mean you basically creating your own narrative at some point, but then Tom's just like, actually, no, you're not. Like 3 issues down the line, no, you're not. I'm still
mhm.
in control here.
So this has been really cool. If you again you like Tom King books, you'll really love this. And I love this book. There's a backup issue that is flipping adorable. And there's like some people like, oh, what a pointless backup. I'm like, it's not supposed to really have a point. It's supposed to be cute. And it's a few years later, and it is a young Trinity. Her name is Lizzie, and she is essentially being babysat by John and Damien at the Wayne Mansion.
Oh,
So cute things happen, like
that
cute babysitting things happen between like
that has
John's
so
like,
much
I
potential.
need to go do something. I need to go be Superman. I've been Superman now for 5 years. Like I'm hearing a dam break. I need to go do it. And Damien's like, we gotta watch the kid. And then Damien turns around. And John's like, gone. He's like, great. So he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go fight crime too. So he dresses Lizzie up as Wonder Robin, which is adorable. She's like supposed to be 5 at this point and talking like a 5-year-old.
Is that
Gave me heavy Ralph Wiggum moments with some of these lines where it was just like he's like trying to explain things, and then she's like, I was in a clock tower. And I'm like laughing at that because I thought it was adorable and funny. And teaching her as many superhero lessons as possible, the only way Damien can, which is by scaring the crap out of her by telling her and be like, yeah, if I didn't do something right, my father would lock me in a dungeon without food for a week. And she's like, what?
Obviously.
Yeah, naturally. It's super, super cute. I thought it was adorable. There's gonna be some more. I said part
Um,
one, so I assume there's gonna be more of these little backups in this. I just think it's cute. It's harmless. It's just gonna add more
I,
characterization and more of like you can understand that they're gonna be going into the future, more of a connection between those three when we eventually get to those stories.
yeah. How does when you dressed her up? How did that costume look? Was it a like a fusion?
it's
Like how
it's almost
I'm so
like,
curious.
oh man, it's almost like a one like a Robin. No, it's mostly Robin, but kind of like with a little tutu.
Oh,
And she's got like
wow,
little pigtails sticking out. So it's,
amazing.
yeah, it's cute. It was cute.
Yeah,
Okay. Not everything has to be like, I mean, if you wanted
exactly. No,
dark
100%.
and like meaningful storytelling, that was like the first, how 28 pages, however many this was of the book. This was just cute. Not everything has to be like meaningful. It's cute.
Yeah, yeah. Just
I liked it.
going
I gave
back
it like a
to
4.5 out of 5. I absolutely adore this.
oh,
Again, shout
that's
out
super
Daniel
high.
Sampier.
Wow, amazing. Um, Going back to the Wonder Woman book, obviously under the Dawn of DC banner. How is that fitting into that world? Do you read about any call outs to any other issues? Are there any other characters showing up in Wonder Woman that might be in their own issue or something like that?
Not yet. We are 3 issues in, so not yet. There's like no Waller, no Peacemaker, none of that yet. There is
Okay.
the Attack of the Amazons book, which is telling an adjacent story from the fallout of everything that happened in the first issue of this run. Uh, I can see a tie-in eventually
Yeah.
because it seems like Waller's whole big point is to make it that people hate the superhero. So I don't think she even needs to step in if everyone's like kind of against the Amazons. She's like, oh, they just handle
Yeah.
themselves. I can worry about the Titans right now or something.
Okay. Cool. Because yeah, when I was reading the latest Green Lantern book, um, Barry Allen he showed up and Hal and Barry they were doing buddy things. Like I mean, they are probably the two like the best friend bromance combo in the Justice League, and it was so cool to just see that entire interaction going on. And at one point, Barry and Hal are talking; they're having a nice heart to heart, and Barry's just going like basically just naming points that's happened so far in the Dawn of DC in the Flash comics. Talking about Wally that is he's now had another baby, and that that the Titans are now the new Justice League because obviously Hal was off world at that point. So Barry's just like filling him in on everything that's happening. And then another thing as well, in the Green Arrow book, before I started Birds of Prey, I was like, okay, so if Dinah's busy fighting with Peacemaker and Peacemaker and Roy Harper and all of them, if she's going out on missions with them, how does she fit into this book? And then right at the beginning of Birds of Prey, it says that this happens after Green Arrow number 6. And we only have Green Arrow number 5 at the moment. Issue 6 is yet to come out. So it's nice that they basically align that all quite nicely. So the storylines don't intertwine and don't cause obstacles for them. So yeah, the Brain Trust really probably thought long and hard about how we're going to do this for the next year or so. And yeah, the planning's been quite good thus far.
I will also say no spoilers for Birds of Prey though, but they do
Yeah.
also answer the question of Wonder Woman and everything that goes on in her
Okay.
book. And because they're going to the mascara, they're
Yeah.
going to have to potentially deal with that. They do discuss that, and that becomes a whole factor. So it is cool. Again, we've been mentioning this almost every week now. DC's having better continuity about all their freaking books than Marvel does. And it's really cool seeing DC almost like do that
Dude,
ever.
I
Because
love
it'll
it.
really don't.
It's like we are watching our own sort of comic-matic universe.
Whoa. All the stories are connected. What a concept.
It's all connected, guys.
It's all
Amazing. Pick
connected.
up some DC comics. You
Yeah.
won't regret it.
So it's been good. I can't wait for you to catch up on that, and I'm already super excited about Water Woman #4. When they announced this team on it of Sam Pierre and King, I was very excited and I was really intrigued, and it's just been it's been for me at least. Like I've loved it. I love this issue. Upcoming books. I don't think I prepped you on this at all. But are there any books coming up in the next week or two for you that you're looking forward to?
Well, I don't know if it's week or two, but like I said, I'm looking forward to more Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely looking forward to more Superman. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just loving this Williamson run. Every single issue is a home run, and um, yeah, I want to see what's happening with the Flash. I'm 2 issues in. My brain is mush after every book. There's so much scientific things happening in that book that I have to reread the bubbles every single time or the panels every single
Mm-hmm.
time and try to make sense of what I read. So there's a lot of mystery happening there, and I hope to get some answers very, very soon. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad book. It just means that you have to use your noggin quite a bit. How
All
about
right.
you?
For me, for me, I just looked. I'm gonna be going to pick up the latest Superman coming out today with the whole chain story. Freaking love that. It's been Joshua Williamson's just been so good on this.
Yep.
And Something's Killing the Children coming out next week, a new issue.
You love
Literally
those.
like one of my favorite indie runs ever. And that's just been so solid always. James Tynion third, fourth, James Tynion fourth. Oop, oop. Uh, so good, so good. And that's what I'll be doing the second this podcast ends. So AF, thank you once again for coming on for another episode of the Comic Corner. When we be back
It's
in
always
a
a
couple
pleasure.
weeks. Yeah, when we back in a couple weeks talking all these books. We'll be talking. I'll at least brush up on Superman and anything else that comes out. Titans, Nightwing as well. He's been on a seafaring adventure for me. So that's been fun. And we'll talk about that in a few weeks. Also,
Yep.
always go support your local comic shops. If you have one near you, go find one, go support it, go get some comics. Just read comics however you can. Support your writers, support your artists, buy the books. Just buy the books. And on that,
Yeah, and you never know. You might make some new friends over there. I
it's
mean, I
true.
have. I'm pretty
It's
sure you
true.
have. So yeah,
There's a reason I intentionally go at night. It's because we all sit and chat about whatever. I assume we'll be talking about all this DC castings that we talked earlier today.
yeah, and
It'll be
probably
cool.
picking some of them apart. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe not. We'll be analyzing them at the very least. With that, go read some comics. Go support your local comic shops.